Hey everybody, we are back with another video for something for you guys to do at home.
Yeah, today happens to be Sunday, and we are going to do a little bit of a stretch. So a little different exercise than what we've been doing. Instead of focusing on strength or cardio, we're going to try to make sure that we're staying limber and loose and kind of ready for the rest of your workouts, right? Kind of ready for everything else that's coming your way. Today, we're going to focus mostly on your hip flexibility, which is why you're seeing me doing some kind of little stretches before we get going. And so all of the stuff today is going to really be around your hips. And again, those are oftentimes really tight. We do a lot of sitting, and those areas can kind of be problematic for us. So we want to make sure and keep those nice and loose and kind of ready for you. What you saw me doing earlier is what we call a squat to stretch. I'll kind of keep my hands on my toes, stand up as much as I can, feel my backside muscles stretch, and then I try to sink lower and lower down. And you're seeing me use a couch right here, anything really, where I can lean back and get a little deeper into it. And that's really just kind of like the basics of a stretch. Now what you're seeing me do is get ready for our what I call my Frogger move. I think the kids named that this, which is just kind of hop around like a frog. And the main difference is that I just take my time when I'm doing it. It's not really about being fast or anything. Almost out of the camera there. There we go, start going backwards. And it's a good point. What you're seeing me do is both forward and backwards, and you're also seeing me do a step now versus a hop. And the main thing I want to tell you is, as always, make it look and feel good for you. You don't have to make it look exactly like mine. There's a billion, 7 billion people? There's probably 7 billion different ways to do this. Really, your goal is to make it, again, feel good for you. If it doesn't, feel free to change it up. And you can do that. You'll see me, I'm keeping my rear a little higher this time. I'm leaning on the floor a little bit more. You saw me do a little hop there. Again, your goal is just to kind of do that little hop forward or backward, or maybe even a step forward or backward as comfortably as you can. And the second exercise is the monkey or the ape crawl. Again, the kids have named that for us. And it's really the same thing. You're just moving sideways now. You still get to move your hands, put some pressure on them, go side to side. And you can be higher, you can be lower, you can take a hop, you can take a step. You'll see me kind of stepping around right now. And it works both ways. One, the moving around part, right? Kind of that sideways movement. And then you're also seeing me sit down and hold that squat, and those muscles are getting loose. And one thing I want you to see right there is how my back was a little bent, and that should change after we do some stretching. So now that I've warmed up, I'm going to get into my 2 key stretches. These are what I will recommend for almost anybody that has some tighter hips. And you're seeing me get into what's called a modified pigeon pose. I like to call it a 90-90. You saw me point my legs there. My front knee is at 90 degrees, and the leg that's behind me is also at 90 degrees. And then I'm just leaning directly over that forward knee. And I'm not very flexible here, so you can probably see some people put their forehead on the mat. I cannot do that. I'm not even going to try. Yeah, it's tough. But again, it works wonders for that hip. Now again, if a part of this doesn't feel good, please change it up. Your legs can move in a lot of different directions. Some people will take that back leg and go almost straight. Other people will be able to keep it bent at 90. You again do what works best for you. Some people feel comfortable if they take a rolled up towel and put it underneath kind of their butt, their inner thigh. And so now you'll see me move and do the other side. I'm giving you just a slightly different look at it. And by the way, there's no stopwatch today. I am a big fan of doing things by breath counts. So if you're watching me, I know I was doing this. I was taking about 10 deep breaths and just holding it. If you don't want to count your breaths, by all means, get a watch out there. Do it for 30 seconds. Do it for a minute. I'm not going to say there's a magical time right now. Just you getting into these movements will help, or should help anyways. And again, if it
About how long were you doing the warm-up moves?
I wasn't paying attention. Okay. That's a great question. I was doing those until I started to feel a little looser. And we'll talk about why we do those moves at the end of it. You'll see me doing them again, because if you do want to get some exercise, you can. But as this one's getting ready to wrap up, again, I would say you'll probably feel it in the outside of that hip if you saw me moving around. I was also telling you, try not to stretch to either side of the leg. It might feel a little easier if you turn to the outside versus the inside. And again, your goal is to keep your nose and kind of the middle of your body lined up over that forward knee. Okay? Second stretch is called a modified down dog, and you've seen us, or maybe you've done some down dogs in yoga. Start in that plank position, and then you're really just pushing your butt up towards the ceiling, right? Push your hips up to the ceiling. You should feel a stretch through almost all of those backside muscles, right? From your heels up through your calves, maybe into your hamstrings. And what I'm trying to focus on here is letting one leg stretch out, specifically those calf muscles, those lower leg muscles, which is why I will bring one foot up and help kind of support it. And you can see when I'm doing this is my right leg back. My heel can touch the ground. That's gonna be different than my left side. And so that's what you're aiming for. It's just pushing that heel a little lower. If it doesn't touch the ground, it's fine. You're just looking for it to stretch. And again, it should feel good. It should look good. I'm done here, and because that's some pressure on my wrist, you'll see me do that same little shakeout, and then I'll put my hands palm side up on the ground and lean over those. Again, do that gently. Do it to where it feels like a good stretch for you, but don't worry about how far you're going or anything like that. On the other side, you'll see me switch around and kind of give you a diagonal view. Just give you a little different sight here. Start in that plank, you'll see me push my hips up. I'm not overly concerned if my back is really straight right now. I am focused on the stretch, and it's maybe tough to see, but that left heel is not touching the ground. And you'll see me even adjust my posture here in a second. I'll take a step forward, I'll take a step back, and really what I'm looking for is where it looks and feels the best. This can be a great one for stretching those backside muscles. And again, when people are trying to squat, or when you have tight hips, that first stretch, that 90-90 or that modified pigeon, those stretch right around the hips. And then surprisingly, the other thing that limits our squatting abilities is oftentimes our calves, those lower leg muscles. So again, why we're doing these two key stretches. And then Maggie brought up why, how long I was doing those first exercises. Now you're gonna see me get back into those exercises. And if you can't see it, I'll tell you what I noticed is that I felt so much more flexible, so much more fluid. I felt like I could keep my back straighter, I could move around a little easier. And so I would encourage you to try the same thing. Once you've done your stretches, right, 10 breaths, for each leg, 10 breaths for each exercise, get back in and try this again. And if you want to do some exercise, do these two moves for 5 minutes. You don't have to do them, you can do them for 30 seconds, you can do them for a minute. The idea here is to do the concept of what we call play. Play around, have some fun, take breaks where you need it. I kept that shorter, and yeah, that's about it. So enjoy your stretches today. Again, we will bring you another video tomorrow, and we're back to strength. Make it a great day.
See you later.